Now, once you get past that block, you get to like 50, 60, 80 trucks, all semis, all the same, whatever. Now the market opens up where you can go to like a revenue-based policy. They kind of loosen the restrictions a little bit. You can hire guys from all over the country. You can, do load board freight. You can have different models of trucks. You can have Freightliners, Kenworths, Peterbilts, older trucks, all that kind of thing in there. But you cannot do that until you get to that size. So there's like an easy part to get going. Then there's a really difficult part to go from, say 20 trucks to 60 trucks. And then once you get up to 100 and plus, things get a lot easier if they're all semis. You cannot build a mixed fleet like that of hot shots and semis in order to grow that big. Nobody will insure you. Okay. So that happened at Moneypenny. Now we're down to 9 trucks. We're trying to make it work. We're like, okay, we're going to do mostly oversized freight, RGN stuff, right? I'm out there, driving. You guys see me driving. A bunch of my consulting clients went out of business. A bunch of guys that I know went out of business. They did a lot of the wrong things, though. Safety scores run up. Didn't manage their money well. Bought equipment too expensive. Costs and overhead and payments too high. Insurance, charging too high. Didn't set their company up in the right states and right things and whatnot. So they did a lot of the wrong things. Most people I know. If I had it to do over again, obviously Monday morning quarterback, I'd do a lot of things differently. But in saying that, what other things did we have happen to us? He's like, well, you're still in business, 9 trucks, what happened? So we're doing RGN, we're doing well. Insurance was actually cheaper for us once we got rid of the hot shots, right? We're all semis at this point. On that one side, the other side still has hot shots. We're dispatching, everything's going good. And we got hit with a couple big chargebacks of brokerages going bankrupt, a couple of fraudsters that didn't credit check and it didn't work out. So there were several chargebacks in a 6-month period that we just couldn't hardly sustain. One of them was close to $30,000. A few other ones were really big, and we had to lay a few guys off again. And that was probably got us down to 5 trucks. All right. And, some of those loads, those guys did, when they got back charged, unbeknownst because of a credit check situation or a fraudster or a broker going bankrupt, it was just something that we had already gotten advanced on. The way a factoring company works is you sell your invoice once you do that job or that load. You sell it to them for 3%, 2%, whatever. They advance you the money. You then go pay your drivers, whoever, whatever, and do whatever you want with the money there, pay your bills, whatever. And then if 90 days, because they wait 90 days so you don't have to. That's why they're buying it. At the end of 90 days, if that load hasn't paid it from that broker or that customer or that company, it goes bankrupt or whatever, or defaults on their invoices for whatever reason, or it takes longer than 90, say 120 to 6 months to pay or whatever. A couple of them we ended up getting paid, but it wasn't for 4, 5, 6 months later, which kind of screwed us in the interim, right? And guys didn't want to wait to get paid and things like that. So they charge you back. They take that money back out of future receivables that you have coming forward. And so if you go work, it cuts off the workflow, right? If you're talking about doing like we were doing, anywhere between 500 and 800,000 a month in factorables, the minute that you go to try to factor, now you're factoring loads that guys did, right? And your percentage is small, 10, 15, 20% that you're taking. That amount of money, let's say it's a $5,000 load, you owe that guy $4,000, right? And you have a $30,000 back charge from loads from 90 days ago or whatever. That means you can't pay those, however many people, right? That money that of the loads that they did gets taken, and you don't have that money, right? Even if you saved, which we did, we tried our damnedest to save money and run the business and operational things. We've always loaned guys money to get their trucks fixed and tires and do things they needed to do and pay their insurance for them until they can pay it back and things. You end up in a sucky situation because the factoring company determines whether you stay in business, and the insurance company does also. So the insurance company cut our business in half, even though we were legal, moral, ethical, doing good work for good customers and brokers and had good relationships. They screwed us, which really sucked. That sucked. It's half the business, right? Now, the factoring company, because I didn't get the right one in the beginning, which was Trans Am Financial, TAVs, everybody knows they're like the boogeyman in factoring companies. They suck. They screwed us, right? And you can call them all you want and argue with them and blah, 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 and say, hey, we're going to go out of business. They don't care. They literally don't care. I tried everything under the sun. We just had to work our way through it. That was a couple other hurdles that we had, that those ended up leading to ultimately being out of business, right? Now, also mind you that we went from, 50 plus trucks, almost 60 trucks to down to that amount of trucks, we were with Samsara ELDs, right? So we contacted them. We were like, hey, we're down, 20 trucks now, and we don't need these 20 ELDs. We're going to send them back, and we can't pay that monthly service charge because obviously if you ain't got it, you ain't got it, right? It ain't coming in. Money ain't coming in to pay for all those units. $100 a month a piece. You can't survive that, right? So they said, Tuck Titty says to Kitty, you have to pay that. You have a contract with us for 3 years, so we have to keep charging you that charge monthly, right? Well, now we're screwed again because we can't pay for 50 ELDs and tracking devices that were on trailers and everything else if we don't have those units running anymore. It's common sense, right? And they don't want to work with you, take the units back, adjust the account, none of that. They just said, doesn't matter, you got to pay it. If you don't pay it, we shut your service off. So obviously they shut our service off. Same thing with our pre-pass. We called them and said, hey, same situation. We're down a bunch of units. And they said, no, you got to keep paying. You got a contract. So now we have no pre-pass. We have to get a different ELD. And we went to like a Motive or something. Same contract deal with them to try to survive. Then we lost 2 more guys, or 3, right? I think it was 3. Their trucks broke down. Major breakdowns, right? Like motor blew up or went out. Transmission went down, something else. So now we're down to like 4 trucks. 2 of them or 3 of them were mine. 2 leased unit and a purchased unit that I had with drivers in them, that I was leasing the trucks. And their trucks are very expensive when you lease them. Extremely expensive. We were paying on average $2,000-$3,000 a week to lease some of these trucks after it broke down, because they do it a revenue based on monthly. And so it was kind of stupid, but they were brand new trucks, so we didn't have any maintenance or breakdowns or anything like that to worry about, but we're paying these high payments on these trucks. So we're back to, no pre-pass, ELDs messed up, 3 trucks went down, and we called, now we're with Knight Swift, we called to take them off, same thing, takes 2-3 months to take them off. Those guys are gone, their revenue's not coming in. You have to keep making those monthly payments, installments on that insurance, which was, I don't remember at the time, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500, $1,600 a month per truck. So now you're talking about paying $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for those 3 trucks. There just wasn't enough money coming in to cover that. So we wound up having to basically fold right before we did fold. We were hauling an RV, one of my guys was, on a truck, and on an RGN, and the door for some reason wasn't bolted. The asshole that gave us the camper or whatever, slapped it together and shipped it on down the road. It was like at an auction or something. He picked it up, I think, at Ritchie Brothers. The door that you go in and out of to get into the RV flies off, okay? Slams on the road, and supposedly, my guy never seen none of this happen, but supposedly a car almost hit it and tried to avoid it. Follows my guy down. He like ran it over or whatever, the door, a little thin fiberglass door. My guy had to get off on a way station. This guy pulls in, cussing, acting a fool. He's, Russian or Ukrainian or something, in a little Honda Accord or whatever the hell it was. And he's walking, but he's fine, but he's, cussing my guy out. And my guy says, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't know that this happened. He walks around, the door's off the camper. So he's thinking, well, shit, it must have happened, right? And the guy says he's fine, whatever, just make sure that my car's good. I'll put it in the shop. I want insurance cover. This is in Florida, mind you, billboard lawyers, right? So we think nothing of it. The guy wasn't injured, nothing. There was no damage to his car that was visible. I had my guy do video, pictures, the normal thing that we always do. This guy been with me for years, right? And we get shortly after that, about 3 weeks to a month later, we get a major lawsuit for neck and back, whatever hurts. And from Morgan & Morgan, the big billboard lawyer, right? And so we don't really, I have no idea how to proceed. I've never been sued that kind of money. I was like, holy shit, we have pictures and video. I was like, holy crap, this guy has no damages, whatever. So I contact a family lawyer that I have in the family. So what do you think, can be done about this? And he's like, look, they have the resources. He's like, look, they have the resources and interns in there to work for nothing, and this is just fun for them, and they're hoping to get a big company, and yeah, maybe nothing happened, but it's very difficult to prove whiplash, neck injury, muscle tissue, these type of injuries, right? Tendon issues. If he's going to try to say that, he had to slam on the brakes, which caused him whiplash or PTSD or whatever. So, what's the standing of the company? How does it look? I was like, we're damn near going bankrupt. And he said, okay.